Thanks. All right. So my whole entire thing is, it's like, it's so like frustrating because I feel like we always gotta fucking defend our fucking humanity with people, and it's so fucking annoying that we have to go through this shit every fucking time. The most recent one was fucking Floyd. They literally fucking sat there and like killed that man. And a
Well,
lot of these fucking
That's
cops
a well,
that are going
okay,
on.
okay.
Yeah, we
we understand,
like-
but that's again, that's an emotional argument. So Travis, do you understand? Like,
Emotional
there's an
argument.
emotional argument to this.
Yep, 100%.
Because there's this emotional argument.
Oh, 100%.
I come to it from I don't come to it from the emotional argument of like they're always coming after me or us. I'm from the emotional argument that like cops are a brutal arm of the state.
Oh, absolutely.
And sometimes they can be a little overzealous, or at least I feel they can be overzealous. I don't know. But here's the deal, like that's the feeling.
Yep. No, and I totally empathize with you on that too, Thaddeus. And here's the thing is like, even though I'm defending these positions, right, doesn't mean that I don't recognize there's bullshit. Like we've had those discussions before in the past about what is ethical and unethical behavior within law enforcement. But then there's also the giant painting of the brush of all cops are bastards or all cops this, that, and the other. And that's just, it's not an intellectual argument. It's not a real argument. Since we've taken this defund the police movement and the police stopped policing and they have been backing off, how many citizens have murdered other citizens? Oh, let's see. I don't know. 248 homicides by June since May 29th. Let's see. Over 1,600 shots fired. 787 carjackings, $500 million worth of property damage. And this is literally where George Floyd happened. This is the same spot. When we're looking at those critical incidences of 7 or 48 people getting shot, now let's take it to the 200 plus, right? One bad interaction, right? Versus the almost 300 that have been murdered in 2 months by citizens. Right. And so that's what I'm saying. The problem probably isn't law enforcement. The problem is probably the citizenry. Because obviously in a month of the citizens having control, shit's popped off over 300 times the amount the cops have done.
Well, when you talk about the citizens, one thing I don't want to skip over that I've been thinking throughout this entire end of the conversation is going back to this comment where, you mentioned all the different criminal organizations. And the reality is when people want to talk about bad cops, most of the bad cops are working with those criminal organizations.
Yep.
You're going to have these problems and people are going to get killed. I know that I saw one thing, we talk about George Floyd, and I have never gone back to verify this. So, I'm not saying this is, the God honest truth, but I did see at one point it was mentioned that, it's being said that he was a police informant. All of this stuff plays in with itself. When you got rats, you've got snitches, you've got bad cops, you've got good cops. And really, again, I will say it all comes back down to a societal problem. It comes back down to everybody wanting to point the finger at everybody else, but they don't want to point the finger at themselves and change themselves and just make themselves a better person. And until people start making themselves a better person, none of this stuff's going to change. It doesn't matter how many laws you put in place. It doesn't matter how many regulations you have, reforms of the system or anything else. The system is just a system, and the system is created out of us. We create the system every day with our own actions.
Well said.
Well,
You're
there
right.
is only one thing to say.
Orange man bad?
Yeah.